Yes. I just wanted you to understand something when it involves welfare fraud. Yes. Now, I provided the documentation from the evaluator on Guam. Yes. That his recommendation was that we should seek marriage reconciliation. Phew. I called the Domestic Violence Advocacy Charity of Clown County. They alleged 20 days after I called them that I was attempting to contact the petitioner. I wasn't. I wanted to make sure that Guam had provided the documentation that they should have helped us stay a healthy family. Now, for those of you that think that it's wrong of me to evict myself, when you rent a room from a 70-year-old woman that may or may not understand the constraints of law, yes, the right thing to do, the lawful thing to do would be for me to fill out an eviction notice, yes. But instead of a 3-day pay or vacate, it would be a 10-day eviction because of the condition of me applying for housing assistance. See, the 3-day pay or vacate was for me to get some rental income. Yeah. And it was St. Vincent that we went to. Poop. Now, since I did contribute some of the rent, I'm trying to prevent the eviction, yes, from the rental room where the individual that happens to be the landlord is a senior citizen. That's right. Now, I would never want to take advantage of anyone's sheriff. But I've got a feeling that somebody's been allowing for, in fact, even encouraging certain women that are influenceable, yes, to just call the police if they have an argument, yes. They'll issue a traffic citation, yes, where they know the individual was not in that city, yes. And then you should just go down to welfare and we'll set you up in free housing right now. That would be welfare fraud because of the issuance of protection orders that were fraudulent because of domestic violence. Ooch. Now, when we look at it, okay, we can go through each and every individual, yes, we can, that has alleged domestic violence without there any documentation, yes, without any police report, pooch. And then there's that 2-count criminal complaint in Brendan, Washington, yes, where I provided the evidence that I wasn't there. Now, Judge Landis is involved in welfare fraud. Yes. Now, as a judge, I asked her to read the protection order where the state decided to issue it without the acknowledgement of the petitioner. Yes. Using forgery and fraud of the state court seal. Yes. So that they could help facilitate welfare fraud. Mm, 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 mm. Now, when you as a police department, excuse me, yes, when you know that I wasn't in Brennan, yes, and I sent you approximately 2 to 3,000 emails a day for a year, yes, documenting kidnapping, pooch. Now you're getting sued for being complicit in welfare fraud. Now, these are going to be some big lawsuits. Poo, poo, poo. Let's look at it for just a moment because I have a copy, yes, of the actual expungement order. Yes. Did you get a copy of that? Yes. And then I emailed you a copy of the United Nations marriage license. Yes. And then I emailed you some additional documentation. Oh, just a second here. Maybe it was in the last week. Oh, here it is. The penalty of perjury. Yes. For the crisis responder of the superintendent of schools of Brennan, Washington. Yes. That had alleged that I was in Brennan when I wasn't. And then you said that I was mentally ill or defective for not understanding welfare fraud. Now, here's how welfare fraud works so that you know, Sheriff. You be on somebody that you find so attractive. Oh, affidavit of the complaining citizen. Yes. Now let's look at it for just a second here. The prosecuting attorney's office gets some sort of report from the superintendent of schools. Yes. Now, if the judge is satisfied that probable cause exists, and factors 1 through 7 justify filing charges, the criminal complaint, and that the complaining witness is aware of the gravity of initiating, a criminal complaint where the actual victim, didn't herself call the police, which has been a recipient of the welfare fraud for the last 7 years and 5 months, of the necessity of a court appearance or appearances for himself or herself, of the possible liability of my false arrest for failure to appear when I had emailed you, wanted to know, and then the consequences of perjury, Now, let's say that my wife had lied to welfare about domestic violence and child abuse. That would mean I'd need to have a copy, or the originals of every welfare document signed right now. And then her actual tax returns that she said she's had. And the judge may authorize the citizen to sign and file a complaint in the form prescribed in Court Rules 2.1a. The affidavit may be in substantially the following form. Now, I know Brett Roberts decided right now that he would help a woman commit welfare fraud because of the issuance of fraudulent protection orders and make up stories about how I'm not Brittany Washington so that each and every individual involved in this is going to get sued from now until eternity.